Let the record show it is July 12th, 2021, 6:30 p.m. Roll call, Pam?
Pam?
Pam, Susan.
No wonder why I didn't answer.
Yeah, just people.
Tony B.
Here.
Gary J.
Here.
Charlie K.
Present.
Brenda M.
Here.
George not here. Dan's not here. And Charlie P.
Here.
Let's all stand and face the flag, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here comes Dan.
Thank you.
Instead, I just saw David.
All right, well, it's Keith.
Hey, Dad. How you doing? Good.
Okay, I don't, the board recalls that I was here about half a year or so ago. Because, well, I don't like surprises, so I'm sure you don't either. And even though some people said we didn't need your approval, I wanted to get it. And what that's for, putting in a pavilion on the upper side across from the station. And what it is a money-making project for the local chapter. The Westmoreland Yacht Trail chapter. Since that time, of course, both our local board and the Regional Trail Commission board have approved it unanimously. You know, and it's a thing where what it will be, we're gonna start a little smaller, just be one 12 by 10-foot pavilion. I know the questions that were asked when I was here before involved the footings, and by the pictures in there, the footings are copied from a pavilion, which I'm in the White Oak Lions Club. We're putting a pavilion in White Oaks Park, so we met the engineers and all their requirements in Allegheny County. So it should meet that. In addition, I didn't have the formal application before, but you all have it now, along with the documentation that's required with it. And you've also received an awful lot of documentation in addition to that. So at this point in time, I'm officially asking, hopefully tonight, for your official approval so we can start. Since then, we've been getting bids, and we're pretty much ready to go, you know, once we have your final approval and, you know, get things moving. You know, since that time also, you know, we have things that have happened with Gary's chuck wagon and other things on the other side of the river there, and those things, they would actually float away well before anything would happen, you know, to what we're doing. All we'd have is a little bit of mud on the brick surface if the water ever got that high, because it's right on the edge of the 100-year floodplain. So I'm here tonight. You have the formal application. I'm here asking for your formal approval so we can get started.
Whose property is that on?
It's on the Regional Trail Commission's property.
Okay.
You have the deed and the paperwork.
Okay.
That's why I had to get their approval as well.
Are you gonna have any plumbing or electric or?
No utilities whatsoever. It's a pavilion with 2 benches underneath, which are gonna be anchored as well. And the flooring is gonna be memorial bricks that people can buy to help the chapter.
Has our engineer seen any plans?
So I'll kind of jump in. We did, this was forwarded along the formal application you sent. Normal process is that goes to the code enforcement, Mike Stack, and if Mike Stack needs our help, he asks us for it. I spoke with Mike, Mike's taking a look at it. We're taking a look at it, and it'll go through the normal process, and you would comments if there are any, or an approval in front via that route. So I'm not sure that it's something that normally comes before council unless there's a variance or something that's not in compliance with the ordinance. And I didn't see anything, and I haven't done a thorough review, but from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything that would be not,
No, it's
that would require a variance.
the 3-foot, you know, footings.
I mean, did you check you looked at the prints?
I haven't done like completed a thorough review. We got them, Mike's looking at them.
Well, what if, can we make a motion to approve pending your, that way we don't gotta come back next month?
You wouldn't even need to approve it if there are no issues. So Mike Stack would just issue the permit if it meets
Okay.
the specifications that he has.
Say, I can't see holding this up anymore.
Right,
If
what
it's
Ryan's
approved
saying
by
is
everybody, let's just move
What
on.
he's
It's well
looked at,
done.
no red flags are coming up. I can't think of any right now. I mean, we're pretty well versed with the ordinance down there now after everything. So I can't think of anything that really would really cause any red flags to be raised.
No,
As long as
I don't
he's-
either, that's why I'm saying.
I went down through, you know, the West Newton Borough ordinances, and we complied with everything that was
Yeah,
right.
I'm
Yeah,
right with you,
from,
sir. I'm
from what I
trying
saw,
to-
it was
If
a,
they're all right with everything that you have, I say move forward.
Yeah.
it was a good submission, a thorough submission from what I've seen. It'll need to get, formalized by Mr. Stack, and if he has any questions for us, and we'll get a letter either from him or a notice from him, or something from us perhaps.
Okay, I guess, what one, councilman was saying, is there a time frame when, you know, when that will take place, and could they have to be approved pending, you know, this time, let's say?
Well, that's what we're saying. If they're okay with it, we're okay with it.
Council won't have to approve anything in this instance unless there's a need for some kind of variance, and I'm highly doubting that in this situation,
Yeah,
given it's
I
just
will.
the pavilion. So Mike Stack
Yeah.
does the cursory review, if there's any issues, that's when it gets kicked up to here.
I would imagine in another week or two at the most.
All right, very good.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, sir, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Tomich.
Could I use a stand, please?
Sure.
My name is Arlene Tomich, and I live at 244 North Fifth Street. Connie Pollock is with me and lives at 230 North Fifth Street. I am the fourth generation who lives and lived in West Newton. I'm 82 years old and paid taxes for 53 years on my home. Most of the people living on this street are elderly and paid taxes and are not used to take care of our street. We have been overtaxed for years. We the people have a jungle across from our houses and cannot sit on our own porches and see the houses below us on the lower streets. There is an ordinance on caring for trees, weeds, yards that are not enforced. They're in a part of our ordinances. The trees, weeds, poison ivy, etc. are growing on the wires to my house. From the street across, they're prowling across to my home, right next to my living room. The jungle is higher than my house. When on council, I took the people below me to court. There was a woman related to the defendant, and he was told to clean it up. There was a woman, a relative, and I know she had a hand in it. The defendant said he would clean it up, and I knew this would not happen. I cried as I left that courtroom. This jungle still remains, only larger. Connie and I was on council at this time. When Connie and I were on council, we drove all over town in West Newton looking for things that needed approved, street by street. We did not get gas money for doing this, and we did not expect it. We did it for the welfare of the town that I live in. I had a 6-foot black snake coming out of the jungle to my garage. This 80-year-old woman, me, had to kill it with a snow shovel. I shoveled it back to the jungle. Where is equality for all in West Newton? I have paid my taxes, and this is the service we get. My neighbor who died was ill and liked to sit on the porch looking over town. When people did not take care of the yards below him, he no longer could sit on the porch. I want to say thank you to our road crew, Lou, TJ, and others, who came up to North Fifth Street after my phone call and cleaned the property at the end of the street was right out of control and charged the people who owned it. It was the best thing they ever did. They charged the people who didn't take care of their stuff for the total bill of taking care of that instead of leaving it go over and over and over again. This is a step in the future that could be used to clean our beloved town and make people responsible. Thanks again to our road crew who took care of our streets in the winter. Thank you, Lou. I wish the rest of you would help me get our street the way it should be. I've lived here, like I said, for 4 generations I've lived here. And I don't remember ever being little and seeing a piece of paper on there. My grandma, I had to cut hedges. I did everything when I was young to keep their properties nice. That's the way that generation is. Today, our generations are not like that. And they're destroying our town inch by inch. And I think somebody needs to do something about it and get these people where they're supposed to be. And I thank you all for listening.
Arlene, whose property is it on?
You know, I don't know what his name is. You know where my grandmother Sure used to live, and there were stone steps that went up? Well, he lives on that side, And if you go there, he has trees way up in the front over there, stuff's crawling all over the walls down in the front. And in the back, my house, I can't see downtown. And I have 2 white porches on my house that I put there so I could go out and relax and have a cup of coffee. What am I gonna go look at? And if that tree happens to fall into my house, and I'm in that living room, I could be a dead person.
Is the tree in bad shape, Arlene, that you're concerned about it falling?
Well, the thing of it is, I can't tell, it's garbage everywhere, and then there's ivy growing up the trees, and you know what I mean, it's not a tree, ivy's not trees.
Okay, our new ordinance officer just started Saturday. I don't know if you're aware, but Sean was critically injured in an accident, and we found out he is not gonna be able to return.
I know, I heard.
So our new ordinance officer just started Saturday. I did the same thing with him that you and Connie did. We rode all over town.
Mhm.
Nobody paid us.
Right.
We rode all over so he could find all the nooks and crannies that people don't know about. The guys have been doing a great job of going and cutting the lots that are not attended. And there are liens going against those properties. As far as the ivy on your wires go, I suppose we would first need to know what the wires are, because we can't have anybody up there and take a chance of somebody being electrocuted. Maybe Lou, did you happen to know what type of wires those are?
They look like possibly cable wires, or they're not power wires, but just like you said, if we go up there and damage,
Yes, no.
we have to pay.
Right, no, we can't do that. So we'll have to find another way to try and help you on that end, Arlene.
Well, like I
But
said,
as far as the trees go, if they're not in poor condition and in imminent danger of falling, I don't believe that there's a whole lot we can do about that.
would you know that the ivy that's growing on them trees is what's holding it up? That's how much ivy is on the tree trunks. So when I look out of there, all the ordinances I ever dealt with, and believe me, I have dealt with them, they are responsible for anything that is their trees to make them look like trees. Not growing stuff all over it and hanging all over the place and people not being able to sit on your porch. There has to be a limit to where people can actually use their home.
Other than not having a view, is there any reason that you cannot sit on your porch, is my question. Is there something dangerous there that makes you feel uncomfortable sitting on your own porches?
It makes me feel uncomfortable because I never know what them trees will do. And I'm scared to death of them. Like I said, I'm 82 years old. I lived in West Newton all my life, and I have never in my whole life seen anything like that garbage over there. And that man got away with it because he had somebody that knew Chinny, and he let him go.
Does he still live there?
That guy, yes, he's still living down there, and he could care less. If you see that property and look from the front, you'll see trees higher there. You go in the back, you'll see trees there. But I should not have to live in danger, and that's what I'm living. I'm living in danger.
I would think if he would cut the source of that ivy,
Correct.
they would all
Cut out the
die.
base,
It
it
would
would all
die. I mean, if you don't wanna do a super duper clean job, if you cut the source of the ivy, that would all dry up and die.
I want to be able to see. You know, I don't think that's much to ask, but, you know, paying taxes. You know, I pay taxes all my life. I've been paying taxes up there for 55 years. And that keeps growing and growing and growing. That is not a tree. If a tree is something that has a trunk, it has limbs. That's what I want to see. I don't care if I have a trunk and limbs. I don't want to see ivy crawling over my house and everything else. What am I supposed to do about it? I'm a widow. I live by myself. And this is getting on my nerves so bad that I sometimes cry at bed at night. So I'm asking for your help. I need help to get this done because it's making me a nervous wreck. So I would appreciate it. And Tony, you know what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
So Tony knows, he comes up there. Nobody else ever comes up on that street and takes a look at what we're putting up there.
Arlene, the Fifth Street property was terrible. It was, you know, I went up and checked, it was terrible. Our borough crew went up there and spent hours, had to take a piece of equipment up there to clean that off. and they finished, and the owner come down to the Borough building and complained that, what are you doing on my property? I was gonna get to that, you know, so, I mean, this is what we face. We go on our property, we clean it up, taxpayers' money pays for that, and then we get, someone has the audacity to come and complain, oh, I was gonna get to that.
What, is there a rule in the, you know, in your law that says that if you want something done, you must come down to council, or what does it say?
Well, we have,
If it's
Well, I mean,
not-
if Chinny ain't supporting you, what do you want us, I mean,
Excuse
Yeah.
me?
if Chinny's not supporting you, there's nothing we can do. I mean, you could take it to the Chinny and then he
Chinny
turns
is-
it down
From what
and,
I understand, Trinity's no there anymore.
oh, really?
And this was a relative of the
Oh,
guy.
I don't know.
There was a relative of the guy that lived there. The
So if we
decade.
can go through the process again, we will.
Well, then I would appreciate
Okay.
it, because like I said,
I mean, if Chinny shoots you down.
well, I cried when I left there, I was so upset.
I mean,
And
I'd love to help you,
I
but
actually cried.
if Chinny won't let us go on that property, there's,
Well, Ginny is not there.
okay, I mean, we can run it through again.
So go, whatever you have to
If
do.
we have to go again,
You
we'll
want
go.
me to pay my taxes every
He's
year
gonna retire.
and have nothing taken on Fish Street? Nothing? Would you like to live like that, Tony?
No, I'm just saying that, I'm trying to explain to you that
But that's
if
not,
there's, Chinny can't help you, we can't, you know, and we start here
Ginny,
and it goes to there.
Ginny talked to the woman that was in there before I got there. And I found out she was a council person or somebody from Keysport, which was related to the board.
Okay, well,
That
I'm
answers your
sorry.
question.
Wait, that's not.
I mean, that answers your question. That's the reason.
We'll go through the process again, we'll send them up there and do the letter again, and we'll do it again, Arlene, and hopefully you get
or
some
if
answers.
we
you know?
meet on the cable, we'll find out if it's
Yeah.
a.
I don't know, maybe we should
Cable
contact
issue.
a phone company
Yeah.
or
Whoever
cable
it is,
company or
we'll
something,
figure
I
out
don't
who
know.
it is.
Well,
And
like
we'll
I said,
contact
it's
them.
coming over on my property
Yeah.
and
Well, I get it,
I know
I saw
that.
him going over to Wick's house.
Wick, what happened to Wick? Do you remember him sitting out on the porch?
Oh, yeah.
He liked to sit out on the porch. He was a sick man. Sat out on the porch and he just swiveled down below. Well, they start more of that junk over there. And all of a sudden Wick died but he never went back out on that porch. Because he hurt, because he couldn't see before. And that's what it happens.
Well,
I'm
we'll
a
try
normal
again,
person,
Arlene, that's all I can
But
say.
I mean, I wish my brother lived up here. I'd get an attorney.
We'll try it again, babe, that's all.
Well-
We'll try.
But like I said, don't ask me to pay taxes if I can't use my house.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, I'm paying enough in taxes every year.
So we got a new guy, we'll send Brenda up there.
Like I said, I appreciate it.
We'll give it a shot.
But, excuse me?
We'll start the ball rolling again.
I would appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
My kids even get scared, you know, and they tell me, they'll say, Mom, don't go in the living room. I wanna go to my living room.
Don't forget your cane.
Arlene, what's your cane?
Arlene, don't forget your cane.
Oh.
Know what you're calling down, I ain't picking you up.
I'll pick you up. Thanks for saying thank you,
You
Juan.
did a good job, and I'm telling you, you guys did a good job up to the end of that road, because that was like a jungle, right?
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
We'll give her a shot, Arlene.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Harry Glasser? Mr. Glasser? Yeah, I'm here, sorry.
Let's go stop this.
Hi guys, Harry Glasser, I'm here with the Crown Organization.
Thank you.
I'll come over here. Discussion on the electricity at Pine Street Park.
If it's, I cried.
I mean, I'm running documentation
I'll vote
for you.
for you, you tell.
Bills paid, et cetera, and costs involved. Carl, we'd like to get this straightened out. Fixed. The old split.
Yeah, I'll take all the information. I just wanted to say something. When Crown had their event up there, because I was on the festival the year before last, and for as long as I've known, I always knew the festival pays some sort of something
Okay,
with electricity.
okay.
I did not
Yeah, we
find
went
out
up today and they got
that
the
the
meters.
festival
So
all
I can
year
compare these bills,
has
that's the
been
meters,
paying
to
the
see if
electric
they match.
all year long. And that it's been in different people's names, and I
Yes.
don't see how that is possible
I have
when
record
it's a
from
borough-owned entity.
8/6/2018.
Yeah,
2019
because it was in,
through.
it was in,
my name at one
it was in
time.
her name,
2021.
and then they can't get it out of your name because you can't access it. Lisa said
Yeah.
she can't get the bill.
Yeah.
So something is totally screwed up with this.
Okay.
Did you fix this all up?
Excuse me?
Did you fix this up so the bill doesn't come to you anymore?
No, we haven't been able to get that accomplished yet. Problem, what I understand the problem being was whoever was in charge of the River Festival,
It was in my name, and when I called them to change it, they went more official documentation than me as a person. So I don't know how it actually got put into my name originally, but I volunteered for the festival last year, Jesse Albright here. And so they will not change it out,
we just,
and I can't verify me as a person.
And my question is, why is it in a person's name?
Should
It's
never
borough
been.
property. It should, the borough should have been taking care of this. All these years, are you kidding me?
the,
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
this should have
Well, this
been,
is under the West Newton, Community Festival.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
they're
these
not even
come
a
in.
501c3, they're
No.
a group of volunteers
No,
that try to put
and
something
it's
on. I'm sorry, Mr.
no, that's okay. I just wanted to say that I got this information from, Lisa at the.
Yeah, Lisa Marquetti.
Yeah.
So she said that she was able to eliminate her.
Well, that's good, it's better than I can get through
And-
it. That's great, I'm
And
glad we
got,
eliminated it.
her name put on it now. So
But if she-
how
Why
we
does she
get,
have to have her name?
Well,
She
wait,
just did it for
Jordan,
West
here's
Newton.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, guys. Like, this happened years ago somehow.
Yeah.
Something got screwed up where the electric got put in the festival's name, which it just should not have happened.
Right.
Because like I said, they're not even a 501c3,
Well-
and it's on borough property. How can that be legal? And I mean, that's unfair to the festival committee.
Somebody.
So then what
we didn't do
happened,
it.
what happened was, when there was an event there, when they paid the bill, so then they're asking,
Thank you.
why are other groups using it when they're paying the bill, which
Yes.
is legitimate?
Yes.
So
Right,
this
so I
gotta
mean-
somehow get resolved, either the borough takes over and you charge everybody a fee to use electric for the day, or the borough just pays for the bill. It's, I mean, they only have like a big festival once a year.
right, and you'll see the history there,
It's a
it's
couple
like
$100.
$793 a month per
Yeah.
pole, except then when the festival kicks in, it's up to,
Yeah,
I don't know,
maybe a
what it
couple
was, $80
Yeah.
or something. And then now that they started doing the Christmas thing, there's 2 months where the bill was $70 or $80 there too. So, I don't have, as a representative of Crown, I have no problem with, here's the key, and take over the bill, and also then we would be more than happy to pay our fair share every time we use it, which is perfectly fine. A set price, I think, would be reasonable for every community event that chooses to use electricity. I would just ask to make sure that that's only where it comes to, is to pay the
So
bill.
whose name is it in now?
It's in Lisa
Lisa's
Marquetti's.
name.
Well, it needs to get out of there.
Well,
Right.
that's
Put
not.
it in
No, I'm serious.
But
Well, I know, we
she
know.
doesn't have the capability of calling and saying, put it in the borough's name.
Yeah, the
Well,
borough.
we do that.
Right, you guys, yeah, I mean, you've got the
Yes.
power, we don't, so.
But
Okay.
I'm asking council, like, really, are we gonna be so unfriendly that we can't let volunteers of our community use a park that, you know, was our school grounds without charging?
Oh, I don't
Like,
have
it
a
only costs
We're
maybe
gonna charge
$500 a year, even with keeping those lights on all night long,
And
and
we're more
who
than
cares
happy
about
to,
that?
you know, do something to help offset that as our organization, whichever you guys choose to do.
I mean, I just don't think it's just sad that that has happened, and I'm telling you, I never knew, nobody here on council even knew that happened.
That's fine, and I mean, you understand from our perspective why we would say, we're paying the bill, so, you know, somebody better help us out.
Well, exactly.
And so, you guys decide what you want to do, let us
Yeah,
know.
it'll all be in.
Yeah, let us know what you need from us or anything else from us, because we're just
I mean,
now
the borough
taking
should
over the
have-
festival
The
stuff.
borough should have the keys
Trying to figure out
for
what's
the
going on with
boxes,
it.
and whoever needs to get it
Yeah,
over,
that's the way it
that
always was.
yeah, but it got screwed up somehow, so,
Well, unscrew it.
yeah.
So then the, you know,
Who's
Well-
running the festival?
Well, they just took over.
It's in conjunction with the Crown
We didn't have
organization
anything
here
in
in town.
Yeah,
2019,
anybody else?
so 2019 was the last festival we had,
At this
so.
point,
From
we're
that
asking for
point
help
on.
from all the community organizations, yes.
So
But
Lisa
we're,
is not running the festival.
No, her name was on.
Well, it needs to get off.
And then the elephant in the room then is,
Yeah, the borough's gonna take care of it, and they'll assume the responsibility, and that's what needs to be done. So you guys won't have to worry,
Right.
if downtown was new, nobody has to worry.
Right.
That's how it should be.
I agree totally. And then what do we do about the last 2 years then? We
Well,
just eat it?
the thing is,
Will I
the
just eat it as an organization?
well,
or-
I mean, I think that if you guys paid
You guys
anything,
ain't
I
gonna
think
pay
they
it.
should be reimbursed, but
For how
No,
many years?
you guys just throw the festival, because we are now responsible for the festival. The money goes to the festival account.
How many years is this, you going back?
Well, all
With
I
this
have is,
bill?
I don't, 20, what did I say, 2018?
What was the total amount you
Maybe
paid?
said 19.
2019? That's
What
all I
was the
have.
total amount?
I don't.
2019 was the last festival, I mean, we didn't have one in 2020, so if you went back to 2019, and what saved the electric last time was we used the generator.
Right.
And used it for the stage, which I think that's gonna happen for
These are
2019.
$2,019.
No, I'm just asking, I mean, if you guys are not gonna do it, fine, it's over, it's done with, I totally
No, I'm not
understand.
saying that.
No, but, I mean, I
I
have.
don't see why you should pay every month for the bill.
Right, yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree with you 100%.
It's no problem.
I'm just saying, how far do we go back?
But that's all I have. And I would say that would be all that would be necessary, really, because at that point,
So how long have you guys been using this facility? Since 2019?
since 2018.
And there's a bill here for 2000.
No, how long have you guys been paying the
We've
bills?
just been in existence for less than a year.
Yeah.
Personally, but we're in conjunction with the festival. The festival has been absorbed by us.
Right.
So we have two separate accounts going. We have the festival account, we have the crown account. So any money that would go into the festival account itself, not to crown.
Right.
And
Well, my question to you would be why, if the festival committee has been paying this bill all these years, why have you not previously come to council to ask us to absorb that expense?
As somebody that only volunteered for 1 year, I would say a lot of the volunteers are either, they do a year here, a year there.
Change your
And-
ownership every year, you
Yeah.
never know who you have. We're just finding this out.
I mean, it's
And,
not,
you know,
it's
because
not
we're
gonna be a
absorbing the
few one
books
a
and looking
year,
at the
but
books,
like,
looking at everything.
yeah, it's not on, it's not because it was, nobody, that's the way it is, okay.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And
You
it's
know,
just
and it's one bill of many.
the communications failed somewhere down the line. Because I'm serious, I was on the committee, I thought they just paid that day. I didn't even know they paid all year, and I was on the committee.
Well, I only volunteered up to it, like, I didn't volunteer afterwards.
So I can
Who's
see where
taking care of the money for the festival?
Well, it's
Somebody has
passed,
to know that they
okay,
were
so
paying.
here's the thing, it's been passed on, so it was Joyce Levy and her group for many, many years. And
Yes.
Debbie Grass, and Cheryl Bowes, and all those folks. Then it kind of shifted over, I think it was your daughter and Joyce the 1 year.
Joyce Pollock, yeah.
And then from that, then it went to Lisa, so it's just been passed back and forth, and no wonder it's confusing. But, so are you guys gonna become the official festival committee eventually?
At some point, the term West Newton Festival as an existence entity will expire, yes.
But are you, I mean, wouldn't it be, it would be great if it could be rolled in, because you guys are already 501c3.
Sure.
That's the part that the festival's
That's-
missing,
we're-
is they don't get discounts.
We're attempting to accomplish all that, yes. We're in the process of getting that so that they will become part of us.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
correct. It's just not something that we have completed yet, that's all.
And honestly, this probably would've went on for another million years if it wouldn't have
Yeah, this
happened.
year.
Right, yeah, I mean, if I hadn't known folks to look.
Because
I would've
nobody on
figured
this
it out.
council knew, and I've been here 12 years.
So I appreciate your time and attention to it.
No, I agree.
Let me know.
Reimburse, somebody needs to.
Whatever, whenever, whatever else you need.
Yeah, I think we should
Whoever it is, the festival
reimburse
committee
the
or.
festival.
So if we had to do it the legal way, Sam, I don't know what that is, but we reimburse the festival committee, and then the festival committee can reimburse you, how would that have to go?
Well, so whoever paid, have you
So-
paid this bill yet?
Yeah, they're paid
What did this bill?
from the
last-
festival
From,
committee.
it all came from the festival, Crown money never got touched.
As far
That's
as
what
I.
that's the
as far as
right.
I know,
I think it's
as far as I know,
separate
we have
bank
two
account.
separate accounts
Yeah.
going.
Right.
So the last one was a Crown event, correct?
The last event was a crown event,
Okay.
yes.
Was that on this bill yet or no?
We have accounts.
Okay, that's, I'm just trying to make sure it goes to the proper account.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
it-
That-
When we reimburse, I'm good with that.
Because
Where
it'll
does it go?
still go to both of us, because we're controlling that account.
It would go
It
into
would go to the
whatever account
festival
it came
account,
from.
right, yes,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
but we're gonna still use that money, for the
Yeah, you're
festival,
gonna,
right.
that's kinda like the seed money that you get all
Right,
this stuff
exactly,
going
yeah,
for the
it'll
festival.
just go into this year's
Jesse,
event.
aren't you glad we don't have to pay that bill?
I'm very glad.
There's no reason that it should have ever been in anybody's name.
Is it busy?
I mean, 'cause as soon as I found, I was
Get it
like,
put
this
back.
can't be right.
See what the numbers are, you can even ask them for a full accounting of.
And that was part of the issue, it took us so long to figure things out, was because we couldn't get them to give us
Right.
Yeah.
statement accounts or a long history breakdown of what was being spent.
Yeah.
We didn't get bills.
Right.
Well, believe me, I
Yeah, I
was
just think we need to do it the right,
Yeah,
even if we have to
sure.
put it to the festival committee and they reimburse,
Right,
I
that's
mean,
perfectly fine.
yeah, I
no
just
problem.
wanna go straight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just so it goes back into something for the community, that's.
Who was in charge of the festival?
Well, Charlie,
Last
like I
year.
told you,
been
they
many
didn't have
It's
one
been
last year.
year and year and year and
The
year.
year before.
Lisa, and
Lisa-
myself, and Ollie.
Who's Lisa?
Lisa's the one that's got the name on it now?
Yeah,
Well,
because
then let
she.
her pay the bill.
Oh, Charlie, stop. Please, stop.
Do I have a current bill?
I
Cause I
mean-
saw 2019
No
and
person is responsible
2020.
for that. It
I'll
belongs to
check
the
it.
Somebody's responsible for the way it was.
That was before any of us were on council. This was done years ago. Years ago. I'm serious, years ago.
Keep Lisa off.
I guess we'll have to decide how far we wanna go back, and then, make it go
I
to
mean,
the committee, and then you guys can fight it out.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
We'll work it
that'll
out.
at least give you back the funds.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it very
No,
much.
no problem. Yeah, like I said, I just wanna get it in the right
Straight
hands first.
Right.
And let me know when, or let somebody from the organization know when it is done, we'll do the keys and everything else. that we
What,
have.
for the,
For the box.
boxes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because whenever somebody says they're having an event, we just run down and unlock them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah. But this way, then you have, everything's in one
Who?
location. You don't have
Who's
to.
Jeff? Oh, he does it on the outside, though. That's for the outside.
Didn't you get the keys off of Jeff Hall?
I don't know.
You guys gave,
Brian got it.
you guys gave him to Brian in the wintertime. You
Jeff
you
Hall?
agreed on it.
No.
You guys
We
did.
gave them to Brian because they were gonna be using it for the Christmas thing.
The electrical
Jeff's
panels?
the gym. That has nothing to do with
The
it.
electrical up at the
They were
The keys, yeah.
Divine Street Park?
That's right, yeah.
Electrical? That, I gave it to them, yes.
Well, yeah, they agreed to tell you, yeah.
Yes.
So now it won't be back in the control of the borough, and that's.
Okay, that's fine. Then we'll get it all straightened out.
Yeah, I prefer you guys to hold on to those keys until they're needed at events.
Okay, we can
Not
get
just
them
kind of
back.
passed around, I know we're a small community, but,
Yeah.
electrical panels, people with access to it, doesn't sound great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we didn't- Brian needs to get them back to Lou then, if he has them.
Sure, as soon as you get the account out of my name.
No, I get it. It'll all be a process.
Thank you.
So let's
You're
move
welcome.
on. Steve? A little problem?
Hi guys, most of you know me from West Newton Sportsman's. Got a little issue with the boat ramp that, down here. The last 2-3 weekends, they're kinda jamming the place up with parked cars from the kayakers and the rafters, and the guys can't get their boats out of the water.
I can't guarantee.
Back in the 70s, when that ramp was put in, West Newton Sportsman's put the ramp in.
Yeah.
So they put signs up down there, so
Thank you.
West Newton Sportsman's.
Great job. Thank you very much.
So naturally, who they contacted? Me. Well, one individual, I told him, I said, that's borough property, you gotta call the cops. Get the cop down there. Cop came down and said, it's West Newton Sportsman's ramp, bye, and left. Didn't get the guy's name, said he didn't recognize the guy, the cop on duty. I don't know who he was. Mike kinda thinks it was, I don't know what name you said, but not really sure, but I think we need to put some signage up down there and stop the parking.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be parking down there.
I have,
Bob Matthews told me he couldn't get his boat out of there.
I got pictures.
He had to turn around like 20 times to get down there.
They're parking down below.
They're parked, since they're putting all the gravel up top,
Yeah,
where they used to park,
yeah. That's
well, now they're parking at the
yeah.
bottom, and there's clear no parking sign out there. I mean,
The
and
sign
they don't
that is-
care. They
The
just-
sign that is down there,
We have to start towing them. I say we start towing them, and then maybe they'll.
Is there an option to park somewhere else?
Yes,
They come over to the ball field, right
Yeah,
behind
they
Giant
did,
Eagle.
yes.
It's a big open field.
The yard between Giant Eagle and Gilring Field
Yeah,
is owned by the borough.
that's where everybody used to park their boats.
You have people from out of town, especially from out of state,
Well, yeah,
they have no idea.
yeah, they have no
There's
idea.
no need to tell
So,
you you can
but the
park
signs that are in down there, that CH&D put in the ground, were never concreted in. So, they did one of these numbers and went, and turned the signs. So, those need repaired, and we'd like to have our name taken off of everything down there. It's borough property, we just didn't want to get down there and start taking signs up.
Right.
Although it's our name, we just want to take it all off of there. Because they
We need some
they are
no parking
contacting
signs.
us.
Towing, maybe your car will be towed, I don't know. I mean, they should be parking down there.
Apparently, there needs to be an ordinance to tow a vehicle. Although there's no parking signs, there still needs to be an ordinance passed that you have to tow that vehicle, that you can tow that vehicle. Am I right, Mike?
If you're gonna do it the correct way.
Yeah.
I mean, so if Borough does not have an ordinance that we can tow any car parked,
Well,
whether it's in a
here's-
handicap zone or we can't tow it? I find that hard to believe.
Here am I, so I don't wanna step out of turn here, I guess.
Sam.
My thoughts are on it, like, you have the issue of somebody turning around the signs, okay? You have somebody's word saying that they turned the sign around, if I confront that person, they can say, oh, I didn't do it. But you have them on, camera down there, the trail cam that you guys bought, you catch them in the act, that's easier, As for the no parking, I say, a parking ticket would be more applicable, because.
Well, there you go.
How do you know where that person, maybe they're started up in Palmsville,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'd be pretty upset, I come down here, park in a no parking spot, and I park spot.
Here's the bottom line, if we put signs up, clearer signs that where the parking is available, where they should be parking. The boat ramp is bringing people to town.
Right.
Okay, this is a destination for them. So you don't wanna make them mad. You wanna try to welcome them in, but at the same time, you have to police them, saying, this is where you need to park. I'm catching wind that Mr. Rossetti's not real happy with the people that were parking there. Doug and Mark seem to don't really care about it, but the old man is pretty mad. So that's kind of why he let the water company do what they're doing. I don't know, he won't talk to me because he doesn't like sportsmen, so he won't even speak,
Which one?
the old man. Mark and Doug, they'll talk to me all day long. The old man won't talk to me.
He talks to me all the time.
Sam, is there some type of legal verbiage that we need to put on a sign to make it effective?
Making it effective is wording
But-
not gonna have anything to do with
Yeah,
that.
I know, but I mean, from a borough standpoint, can we,
I mean, like he said, if I walk into the ordinance and you guys really wanna throw cars down there, but like the officer said, and like he's saying, that might cause another unintended problem when you're fixing one. You're gonna have a big blow up because somebody's gonna be wanting to complain, and I parked my car down here and it got towed. I was here for 15 minutes and you towed my car. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly put something on there, no parking, you will be ticketed, or then another sign, parking back this way somewhere, or no parking, drop off only.
so what,
Yeah, that's
what
what
I'm
he-
thinking, what I'm thinking
Drop
is
off only.
boat launching only,
Yeah, no
parking,
parking, parking in
Giant
rear,
Eagle
wherever. Yeah.
next to Giant Eagle. Now
Yeah.
put signs,
Ball field.
boat ramp parking here.
In
And then
grass,
just-
because they've
Yeah.
already been parking at Giant Eagle, and
I know.
that's a whole nother thing.
Behind Giant, you gotta say behind or something.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have any special signs made up that say like West Newton Boat Launch or something like that, it might not be a bad idea to say donated by West Newton Sportsman's Club. Since they put it in there, granted it was years ago, but it was still put in there by them. Has your name on it, but not someone local contact. You could even put the borough phone number if anybody has an issue down there, because let's say they're down there at night or something, getting out of their kayak and they need to call somebody because something happened. Give them the police's numbers, so they're not.
I do know about a month ago, there was 4 cars parked on the concrete ramp
Oh, jeez.
and nobody around them. And the guys tried to get their, hey, what the hell's going on? Finally, the one called his brother and he said, come down here and get these cars off the ramp. He drug them up all the way up out of there. There was no cop on duty that day, because I went look for the cop, and all the cars were here, nobody was on duty. He says, that's it. So we need to get our boat out of the water, I gotta go to work.
Sam, here's what I'll do. When I do, probably like Friday-ish, I'll pick up some verbiage. You say, yeah, Louis, no, yeah, add this in there, you probably should have this. We'll get this together, I'll get the signs back.
Works for me.
And as far as the offsetting the cost of the signs, if we wanna split it, 50,
No, we're not worried about
No, we got it.
It's our property.
I just don't wanna be, you
No,
No,
know what I mean?
no,
You guys-
you're okay.
no, we'll get it.
Yes.
Took a lot of time getting that ramp concrete.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be working, so it's bringing people
We'll get
to
it.
town, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, very good, Steve.
See you,
Any
buddy.
other delegates wish to speak?
Good job, man.
Yes, ma'am?
Hi, I'm not on the agenda, so I apologize. You all know me a little bit now. My name is Jessie, I'm from downtown West Incorporated. I appreciate everyone's time this evening. I wanted to give you two updates. Firstly, last meeting, we were working with Crown around the idea of putting out a survey to help the borough with a comprehensive plan. DWNI and as well as Crown have done some research. We're looking at other boroughs that have done something similar, so we're not starting from square one. We're looking at Lancaster counties, or Lancaster City, excuse me, is in this process right now, a couple other ones, so we have some good ideas, hoping to bring it to your next work session. Some different questions that I think we'll look forward to the borough's input there. So I just wanted to give you an update with that. So any questions on that topic, just quick update. Okay. The other topic we have is we've really been looking at some impediments to bringing business to town. Because we're in our own strategic planning process, operational process as well. So one of the things we've been doing is I have to introduce an intern here. He is a licensed code enforcement,
Code enforcement officer.
as well. And he gave us, because as volunteers, we don't have that background. And I know the borough was in between hiring another one. So we kind of walked down Main Street. We're looking to see if there's a way that we can help the borough. I think the borough gets focused, this is my opinion, in the dangers of code enforcement. What are the buildings that are, difficult for the community? And then DWNI is thinking about, then how do you take that and turn that into someone that wants to invest in it, right? So we're like at a different stage when we think about that. So we actually did a little walkthrough of downtown, looking at, and I know the borough has invested in a part-time before, there was an injury, and this is a council that is newer, that hasn't been part of all of that background. But we basically identified one of the #1 cruxes of us as an organization, and using our connections to like RK Mellon Foundation and others, Westmoreland Community College Entrepreneur, is the problem with a lot of buildings on Main Street of not having codes enforced, and this is a decades-long problem. So I'm going to turn it over to Nick a little bit of a couple of things that we saw, just to give you a flavor, but we're here to help. Is there a capacity in which we can help say, here's some things we saw, we can give to the borough as like a short list of buildings that maybe could be, we can't prioritize them all. We can only do so much, kind of, as Tony was saying, you gotta get some in front of Chinny, and Chinny's at the end of he's the authority hand. But if there's things that we can do to help prioritize, where we have people that are entrepreneurs that wanna start businesses here, but the buildings are in a place that they can't do them because there hasn't been code enforcement. So there's owners that let them sit, as you all know. So turn over to Nick a little bit, a couple of things that we saw.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, this is all, you're able to turn all of that around, like, within the year. Like, you just have to, well, it relies on Chinny, basically. If Chinny prosecutes them, if he doesn't, do the solicitor, what's your name?
Sam.
What is the workaround? Because I've never ran into that whenever I was doing code enforcement.
So,
If the magistrate doesn't,
You take a summary appeal
Okay.
to the Court of Common Pleas in Westmoreland County.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it does not get any easier in Westmoreland County with the current judge that's sitting there. He's a
Great.
stickler for fine detail of your ordinances and how you actually enforce them. Okay. He wants you to go down literally to dot every I, cross every T, and that's fine, that's understandable. It just makes it frustrating when certain behaviors that are ongoing don't fit the specific ordinance, because they're kind of general, because you do want to catch a lot of things, some of them are more specific if you can.
Yeah.
And then, like with all judges, it depends on the day and the mood and what happens there and how the court hearing goes, but it's possible to go up there and win, yes.
Okay, yeah, so how we did it in the municipalities I worked in, we'd hand out a letter of violation, give people like 2 weeks to fix something, give out a second violation after those 2 weeks if it wasn't fixed, then you start filing citations. And you don't file a citation unless you know. And the codes in the IPMC, the International Property Maintenance Code, like, they cover everything. Peeling paint is one of them. And you take a picture of that, you show up with that as your evidence, the judge can't throw that out. It's peeling paint, it's a picture, that's what it is. And I just wanted to see if that's what you'll have the code enforcement officer focusing on, or will you have them focusing on stuff like that woman here complaining about grass being in her neighbor's yard? Is that kind of stuff?
Or if there's a way we can help strategize with council as DWNI to help rank these things.
Yeah.
Because I don't know these things, I'll say as volunteer, and let's be honest, as council members, you're elected volunteers. I don't have the wherewithal and the knowledge, but maybe we can bring some very qualified volunteers to bear to help rank these things.
Yeah, because I'm willing to help out. Like, I don't
Yes.
know what this new person's like experience, what his certifications are, but I'm willing to help him. We also have another resident in town, Jesse Lachimia.
Also.
He's the head of the Commonwealth Builders Association, well, vice president of Commonwealth Builders
Yes,
Association.
so we have some volunteers that could really.
I think he's actually on our zoning board now, too.
Oh, is he on the zoning board?
You know that?
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, he
Jesse
is.
was here was it last year?
Yeah.
Earlier this year.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I remember him.
but yeah, he's expressed interest in kind of banding together with DWNI and with Nick here to like help, because
Well-
as we all know, small staff, small municipality, what can we do?
And
I
so
just
one
had-
thing that Brenda and I know Arlene had worked on before when she was on council was our quality of life ordinance. And they had
Yes.
some recent success with that, and it's been, obviously a little bit hard when, our worker here got injured, so that kind of slowed down.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So that was
for sure.
kind of the
Yeah, that's what we
start
need.
of what these guys had going, and kind of going down those lists, and those little things do matter, and they all
Yeah.
add up.
Yeah, and you can hammer them continually. Every day it's not fixed. That's another, I saw that your ordinance is a little bit old. It says the max fine is $300. The IPMC allows for max fine of $1,000. So you can change that. You just hammer somebody. You have 15 violations on their house, $15,000, $15,000, $15,000. And no judge is really going to prosecute anybody for that, but it really helps to give them like the kick they need to either fix their
Yes.
property up or sell to somebody who will.
Yes,
Are you,
it's-
are you talking about the business corridor or?
Yeah.
I would say the primary is the business quarter for
Okay, so
DWNI.
that's my question, because I know with the new building codes, and this is just bothered me, like, how do you, like, you can't change the dynamics, like, you know, when Crooked Creek went in here, they had to put the handicap ramp to meet requirements. How do you do that on Main Street?
Well,
How?
I can appreciate that question, Mary, but I guess we're focusing on what are the really bad, I hate to say it, but turds on Main Street. The Beechwood Pizza,
Yeah.
yeah, its roof has fallen in. It has been a problem for a minimum 5 to 10 years, and I'm not blaming this council's into this council didn't have a hand in that. You know, you can only do with one from when you're elected forward. And I think there's been a really good partnership opportunity here with this council. So like, for instance, I do agree with your saying to certain codes, Mary, and I think they're important, but we're really trying to say like, what are the crisis actors on Main Street? And is there a way to bring not only council, the current new code enforcement officer, solicitor, and other volunteers that are really high quality in town and we come to a work session when there's the next one now, since, you know, July 4th happened. And can we help? Because I think we can help take what Brenda's been trying to do and turn that into, okay, turn that around into then and either pressure the building owner to make it better and maybe rent it to recoup their cost, or do you turn that into somebody who'll sell it and you have an entrepreneur come in?
That was gonna come up in my report. I met last week with the Redevelopment Authority and Land Bank. We were
Wonderful.
discussing the 5 and 10 building,
Yes,
because that is our biggest issue.
yes.
in order to get started on that property sits the way it is because it has been through foreclosure, bankruptcy.
Well, yeah, somebody, if a bank
litigation.
owns it, they're never gonna respond to you.
So, what I was gonna propose tonight is to make a motion that council approve $500 to the redevelopment authority to do a title search on the property, so we know who we have to go after. So, we actually have both. We have the quality of life and the IPMC going on this year, trying to get involved with everything. The new guy, a week on the job, but he's hit the ground running.
That's awesome.
And I did meet with them, and we also have a structural engineer coming in Wednesday. He was gonna be here last week and had to cancel. He's coming in Wednesday,
Yep.
so we can walk around here and see if he can see if any of those buildings
Oh, yeah.
are savable, or if they're gonna have to be razed.
Sure.
The biggest concern we need to have, at least I kind of have, with tearing anything down on Main Street, is Main Street is a floodplain.
Yeah, you
So,
shouldn't tear anything down. Nobody's
that's
gonna
what
build
I'm
it.
saying.
Nobody's gonna build
You know,
anything there.
we have a whole bunch
will be a hole.
that we want it to go, and yet, when you go back in and look at it, that's in a floodplain. So if we tear that down, we are causing somebody a whole lot of grief when we try to get rid of that property.
Sure.
So,
And the most important
It's-
thing, you're losing tax revenue.
correct.
And that's
So-
what we're all about, is how can we bring, as DWNI, and thank you, Brenda, for that work. I know that you've been working really hard. You've met with us on certain calls. So I will say, just quickly, because I know we want to move on, you know, we are here as DWNI, firstly, we want to bring businesses to town, and we want to work so that more revenue goes back into this borough.
Yes.
Right, number one. Secondly, if there's a way in which we can bring our high-quality volunteers to assist with that, I think the borough and DWNI have worked well for my time, but I think very much so in the last 6 months. And we're really trying to be that assistant and additional horsepower for you.
Yeah, it's something we
So
all
we'll-
need to work
yes, so there's a
on. Yeah.
larger strategy than just like, oh, we're gonna find this person here, oh, we see this thing this week, somebody called a complaint. A larger strategy around making these businesses, these storefronts, because that's the number one thing. We have people that will call us and ask, where can I rent a storefront? And the answer is nowhere. And that shouldn't be the way, and because you have buildings that are sitting that need pressure on them. So, we just wanna let you know that's something that we've really identified. And we'd like to work with council more moving forward. So if it's, I know we've worked with Brenda, we've worked with Gary here a little bit on it, in the past 6 months. You know, if it's something that we can do a ranking system, to supplement, I know you have your new code enforcement officer, but he's done with the day-to-day, right, the phone calls. If we can help supplement that with a strategy, we'd be more than happy to do that.
Great, we appreciate your input, really, because this is a community-wide issue.
Yeah.
It's not a council issue.
No,
It's
no,
not a
it is
downtown
not a
West
council issue,
Newton
100%.
It is an everybody issue, and that's the thing we have to start doing. And that is working together rather than pulling each other 3 and 4 different ways, because I want that building painted blue, but you want it painted green.
100%.
And this is absolutely absurd.
So do we have kind of the council's, it's not really a motion, but like support to like start to put together pen to paper, like a one-sheeter or a strategy around how, at least the business district, because that's DWNI's, you know, bread and butter that we're trying to get off the ground, some federal funding, some state funding for, and then get input, we can come to, you know, the next working session and kind of talk through that. But we just want to put that out there as, you know, we want to work together. Is that something that this council would have an appetite for? With your input, of course.
Sure, yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
The other thing too, there wasn't too many things in place for boroughs to really do much about blight. But
No, it's
now
new.
you
There's
have
some
a little
new
more
laws
teeth.
that can help you.
They've got community champions and things that Brenda's
Yeah.
worked on, so.
I
You
mean,
guys have, it's the 1996 IPMC you adopted, and it's pretty much the same as the one now, and it covers everything.
anything else you want to add, Nick?
No, like I said, I'm willing to, I'll hang around after the council meeting and get my number out. I'm willing to work with the new code enforcement officer if he has any questions, and Jesse, the guy who's one of the head honchos, I talked to him today, he said he's willing to too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, what you got?
Thank you. Just a couple things I want to let you know about and a little bit of information. Last week, our generator trailer that we have through the county, Region 13, was sent off for service. Its annual, like PM check and everything. It should be coming back this week to be put back in service. We also sent out our portable generator for the same thing, so it should be coming back as well. So trying to make sure those are serviced and ready to roll when they're needed. We probably will, after we pick up the portable one, we'll have an invoice to pay for the service for that. But the one for the county is no charge. They take care of picking it up and everything, so it's good for us. We went over our team met and we went over the emergency operations plan. I'll be sending that to all of you, and thank you to Susan. She sent me the contact list, so I'll email that to everybody and to Sam. And wanted to see if we could adopt that at your September meeting. That way we have a couple months to kind of look it over, see if we need to change anything, and then maybe if you could put it on your September schedule to get it adopted, that would be great. I got an email here, I think it came today, I sent it out for, this might interest a couple people, some webinars that are available. One is flood mitigation for grant assistance. And another one is a blue-green stormwater infrastructure. I guess maybe you guys are more familiar with that. And then ordinances for subdivision and land development ordinances and stormwater ordinance enforcement. So these are some little webinars that are coming up. The one that kind of interested me was the flood mitigation grant assistance. You know, being a river town, that always piques my interest. So I don't know if anybody's available. It's I think it's just like a half an hour or 1 hour webinar to give you information. And I sent out the links. I'll send it to everybody now so they have the new list. And they're free, just more informational. You know, anytime I see Grant, my ears perk up for that. I also wanted to try to meet with Brenda, if you could, whenever you have time. I wanted to update the map for the county, with the county, on the CAD map for the dispatch. And what I'm looking to do is just remove like the buildings, addresses that have been demoed. You guys have demoed a lot of buildings in the last 5 years or so. And just get those addresses to show up as what they are, which I think most of them are just vacant lots now. But maybe it's just something we could meet, you know, for an hour or so and just kind of go over. And I have some of the list done already, but the last few I don't know if I have addresses for. So whenever you have time, maybe we could get together for a little bit, and then I could send all that up, and then they'll update the CAD for us. So.
Sure, just let me know when you're done.
Yeah, it doesn't cost us anything. It's better for us to try to have as much current information as we can. And if you know stuff that's vacant, we can also code that as well. If it's something that we know that's either abandoned or just not occupied or whatever. I mean, that's a little bit of extra information that might help too. So if you have some time.
Oh, I have a question. Do you have any ideas on how, I mean, just because the way West Newton's configured, you know, like I was thinking about Barbara LaFace. I mean, she's actually in Swickley Township and has a West Newton address. And this happened in West Newton. Somebody called for an ambulance, and they're actually in South Huntington, but they gave the West Newton address, and so the ambulance went to the wrong place. I don't know how to get this out to the public. Like when they call 911, they say I have a West Newton address, but I'm actually on this street, but I'm in South Huntington Township.
Usually their CAD now reads their questions that they have to read off. One of them is the municipality that you're in. But if it's a known address that somebody has, we can send that up, and they'll put like an address note. So when they call or their phone number pops up with that address, it'll say in there, you know, West Newton, but it'll say, you know, actually Swickley or South Huntington, whatever it is.
But I mean, I just don't know how to get it out to the public because a lot of people don't know that. And, you know, this person was bleeding pretty bad, and it took the ambulance quite some time to get there.
Probably just the media blitz, social media, and then if we can maybe do an article in the paper or something. It's an issue, not just here, everywhere.
Yeah.
Because of our PO box, you know, going everywhere. You know, we have over Ross River Township is West Newton as well. We've got
Right.
Swickley Township,
You have to say the
so
township where you live.
for those people's sake, to get what they need the fastest, that's the way to do it.
Like Walnut Lane, like you gotta say Walnut Lane, West Newton, or Walnut Lane, Ross Draper. You know, because
We
it
just had a call over there
changes.
the other night, and it was on the Ross River end.
Right,
But it does come up as West Newton, so like even those few houses there, they could have that code to say Ross River Township.
because people think you can come in from Ross Draper, like if you don't live here, you
Yeah.
try to come in and you can't get to the last house on the street, you have to enter it from West Newton side.
I would definitely, if anybody, I mean, we can facilitate that for people, if somebody needs that done, we can do that. We just need them to tell us what it should be, so we can make sure it's correct.
And the addressing too, still a lot of people don't have the numbers out, and that's,
Yeah, I mean,
it's critical.
if you're looking to get some kind of service, or if you need an emergency service, please put your house number on the front where it's visible from the road, reflective. I think it's 3-inch.
Yeah, there's an ordinance.
With the ordinance that pertains to that. It's just when they need to find you and you want them to find you, then that's pretty critical. And the mailbox doesn't always do it justice, because maybe the mailbox is across the road, or it's not right in front of the house, or wherever they are.
If it's not reflective, you can't even see it. If it's up on the porch by the door, you cannot see.
Yeah.
I mean, GPS has helped things tremendously, but I'm, you know, that's just a problem.
Maybe you could do like a media blitz, put it on the website, put it on your mayor's page or whatever, and we can actually,
Just
we
maybe
could
remind
work with the
people.
county to do like a little news clipping or something like that too.
Well, if
It's
you
a
guys know
problem.
anyone, let them know.
Yeah, it's a problem,
I
but
mean,
if you
there
know
are
that,
areas in West Newton, it's really,
if there's something that we could do to make that change or get that noted, we'll do it.
okay, thank you.
Any questions for me? I'm gonna hang around.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, on with the meeting here. Engineers report.
Thank you. I handed out our report